think one of the biggest things in this era as a coach, trainer, mentor, former student athlete, especially in 2020 and definitely within the last 5 years, is the pressure from parents. The pressure that parents put on their child has become so immense that it gives the child so much anxiety. In the heat of the moment, they have a delayed response. And they have a delayed response because the parents become so reliant and put so much focus on their child that they realize they're doing their child a disservice because they're not trying to live through their child, but they're not allowing them to fail. They're not allowing them to figure it out on their own. And when they're in a situation where they don't have their parents to help them in a situation in a game-like setting, they struggle. And the frustration comes, and I'm speaking from a coach and a trainer, is, well, my child was able to do this in a training session. Why isn't it that it's not translating in a game-like setting? It must be the coach. It has to be the coach. While my child is performing, I paid money to it. I've physically seen him or her do this over and over and over and over again. Why is it not translating? It has to be the coach not providing an opportunity. And the answer is parents put so much pressure on their child, and children or athletes struggle with communicating with their parents that because they feel that they don't know anything, and it becomes this turmoil where now they're just doing it to satisfy the parent. And the love of the game is being taken from the student athletes because parents are so focused on the end result and not the process. Talking about personal experiences, I'm talking about my own parents when I was a player. And the amount of pressure when things don't go right is parents always want to know, why aren't you producing? What is it? What happened? What are they not doing? I know you're capable of it. What are you not doing? It has to be them because I know you put so much work. And it's not always the parents' fault, but I think we all need to be educated on how these things are happening and what we can do to change the narrative and to make this something where parents and coaches and players can all come together as one and it not be a disconnect between the trainer, the coach, the parent, and the player in the middle. And now the player has three different opinions. You have a trainer saying one thing, a coach saying another thing, and a parent saying another thing. And the player has to be in the middle of that. That's exactly why the player's response is delayed in the game-like setting. So when you look at it from that lens, it helps you understand, okay, it's not necessarily that you are harming your kid, but you're inadvertently doing things that you don't realize because you have good intentions, but the child's never communicating exactly what's going on because they are so relying on their parents for everything. And in turn, it creates this bubble around the child or the athlete where no adversity can ever happen for the student athlete because the parent has created this bubble for them. But when the parent isn't able to be present in a game-like setting, that child struggles. And although that child is very capable of being a great player, they can't because that delayed response is an effect of multiple opinions being implemented in the student athlete's head where they struggle. This is probably one of the biggest topics that are discussed, but I think there needs to be addressed because how are we going to get our student athletes, our parents, our coaches, our trainers, our academic advisors, our guidance counselors, our college coaches, how can we all get on the same page? And it all starts with communicating. And it all starts with the student athlete communicating with the parent. Mom, Dad, you are making me think too much. You are putting too much pressure on me. Or, Mom, Dad, I messed that up. It's not the coach's fault. It's not the trainer's fault. Mom, Dad, it was me. I dropped that ball in practice or I missed that shot 5 times on a Thursday. That's why I missed those free throws in a game setting. I need to do a better job of working on my game and my fundamentals, and that will help alleviate some of the pressure from the student athlete, the parent, the coach, the trainer, And the best thing, in my opinion, is always transparency. Unfortunately, we live in an era where transparency has become something where we have to cloud it to perceive it. But yes, I get that as a coach, you have to. But it's important to be transparent. Everybody understands what the expectation is. Because the last thing you want to do is not be transparent and have a student athlete or a parent have the coach eat his words, or vice versa, because we all aren't on the same page. And again, that all goes back to communicating with one another. And if we communicate with one another and we all hold each other accountable, parent, coach, trainer, we all know our role. I will say that again. We all know our role as a coach, as a parent, as a trainer, as a student athlete. If we all know our role, then we can all play to the best of our ability in our own role to help the student succeed. But we can't do that if we create this around the student athlete, because when you don't have this in a game-like setting, your parent or trainer or coach can't save you. And that's where the disconnect becomes. And that's why the scholarships don't come. The scholarships don't come because the athlete cannot do it. They don't come because that delayed response that the parent can't see on film is exactly the answer to why it's not happening. That's the key to success. That's the key to us moving forward. That's the key for everybody involved, is communication.